All right. I'm so excited. Welcome, welcome. All right. Welcome everyone to our first podcast, the inaugural podcast of the
Yeah.
Wisdom Whisperers, tackling the ordinary in non ordinary ways. My name is Kelly Gray of The Empowered Daughter. And joining me and with me and in this podcast adventure is Marianne King of Tru Knowing Holistics. And we dive into all sorts of topics because we are looking to unearth and express the gifts of the soul. That's what
So it
we're
is.
doing. And so
Yeah.
it is. So it is. Beautiful.
So we're going to start by doing a little bit of an invocation. It's always important to help expand our awareness by bringing in those energies and entities that are here to support us. So I'll invite you to close your eyes if that is comfortable for you and to just bring your attention to this here and this now as we welcome in all of the guides and guardians that are here to sanctify this space, to help us be the clear channels of our own empowerment, our own true knowing, to link to those words and phrases that help us connect with all who listen to these words with an intention to access the gifts of the soul and to really move through ordinary life in non-ordinary ways. And in doing that, blessing and adding beneficence to our world. We ask it to be so as it is so, and so it now begins. And there we are.
Beautiful. And there we
Yeah.
are. And so it now begins.
Indeed, and begins and begins. So we were already talking before we started recording about how ordinary life can become so full of tasks and the to-dos, and how, particularly as women, we can be really skillful at having a long list of to-dos, but that to-do list becomes a burden. It becomes, I have to get this done, and if I don't get this done, and it becomes woven with our worth, which is really unfortunate because our
Mm.
worth is a given, no matter whether we get something done or not. So we were talking about how both of us have experienced very busy days. And the invitation that I became aware of this morning was that the to-do list is never going to get to done. I'm pretty sure for both of us on our final day of
Yes.
life, we will still have a list of to-dos that are not going to get to done. And so I want to bring more joy into it. I want to look at my list and instead of going, oh my God, what is this? I want to be able to say, oh, what do I get to do next? So
Right.
let's explore how
Right.
we might make that happen.
Yeah, I love that. And I think a lot of women would resonate with this, that we do juggle a lot on our plates, whether I'm reminded a lot of women feel this pressure around career, have career like you don't have children, have children
Mhm,
like you don't have a career.
mhm.
And even, for me particularly, I feel a certain kind of, I'm excited to do the work that I'm doing in the world. And I feel like I have a mission. But sometimes that actually adds to the pressure I'm kind of almost putting on myself or introducing into the things that I'm doing. And then I
Yeah,
find myself in overwhelm land, or I find myself just having the joy of the whole experience kind of sucked out.
yeah, yeah. I suspect that what happens with that is that ordinarily we'll move into the parts of our brain that are looking at the problem solving, the listing, the to doing, the organizing. And of course, I don't know a woman who isn't extremely skilled at multitasking and that part of her brain that's really well developed. I wonder though, if it isn't an opportunity to perhaps bring in, we talk about the triple goddess, maid, mother, crone, and that's a goddess energy that's endemic within each one of us. And it speaks to the maid, being those sort of innocent, enthusiastic, no boundaries learned yet energy. The mother is the creator, the bringer forth of the energy. And then the crone, of course, is the wisdom, sitting in embodied wisdom and expressing that. And I wonder if it isn't time to think about bringing in the maiden energy, that joyful enthusiasm that looks at anything, similar to the toddler, where you give them something and they don't know what it is and they're looking at it and they're figuring it out and they have no fixed point of conclusion. So I wonder if that's the invitation to allow joyful enthusiasm and no conclusion when we start looking at our to-dos.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I'm also struck when you're saying this, just as a point of clarification, that I think some of us identify with, oh, I'm a mom, and so I'm in the mother phase. But we can actually kind of morph in or touch on these different phases at different stages of our life, right?
Absolutely. All three of them exist at the same time.
Mm,
We're multi-dimensional. So we have all three aspects at the same time. And what makes it even more intriguing is we're more than just one version of ourselves. We're learning that more and more on a daily basis. So too are the aspects of the Maid Mother Crone inside of us. We've got multi-dimensional awareness of those energies. So I wonder if that's why the no conclusions part is so important.
mm.
Got to come up with a hashtag. What's a good hashtag? Hashtag no conclusions.
Well,
Maybe we
and
start
I'm
writing
also
that at the
reminded on
top.
this, like, enjoy the journey. It's not about the destination. It's not about the
Yeah,
landing point.
yeah,
When
yeah,
we start our vacation, the end of it, the final destination is coming back home.
yeah,
And we would rob ourselves of the joy of the journey. So, joy of the journey, I think,
yeah,
speaks to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So hashtag joy of the journey and hashtag
Yeah,
journey no conclusions.
no
I do
conclusions.
sense that if we come into that place and space, the joy of the journey. Yeah, because we just finished saying the to do ain't never getting to done. So what are we gonna do to be in joy while we do it? So let's explore some really simple steps that help busy moms. And I
Yeah.
have to say though, as a Grammy, I had an expectation, I think, that once I reached Grammyhood, somehow all of this time was going to magically open and I would have all of this free time because I wasn't busy with the mothering that happens on a daily basis. Grandmothering is very different, but no less time investment. And I have to say, one of my friends who's been retired for some time said that she's come to learn that the more time you have, the more things come in to fill it. So there really isn't. I've made
Yeah.
peace with the fact that there isn't going to be this unending hours of a day where I have unlimited time. It's like life still happens. And we still need to look at whether we are young and embarking on careers, whether we are at a midpoint, whether we are raising little ones or we are working with grown ones. That sense
Yeah.
of I'm going to do it later when there's a whole lot of time is not a reasonable one. There's going to be a whole lot of time. So how can we compassionately carve out little pieces of time that
Hmm.
allow us to connect with the joy and with the no conclusions? I wonder what that might look like.
Well, I just love using, of course, ritual
Hmm.
as part of my day to
Hmm.
help me connect in with the qualities that I'm looking to kind of, yeah, and basically invite into my life. What do I need to
Hmm.
rebalance? What do I need to look at? So, what kind of ritual would most serve as an opportunity to like touch in with those qualities of the joy of the journey and the no conclusion?
Hmm.
Fun.
Well, I love that sacred mist, the sacred mist practice
Oh, yes,
where we
that's a
call in.
beautiful
Yeah.
one.
So I'm in
That's
mind of
beautiful.
two things I have discovered over this recent few months that if I ask the joy or the blessing of whatever it is I'm wanting to create to call me to it,
Mm,
then it's not me making something happen. It's me allowing something to happen. So I've been more consistently remembering because it's not the doing, it's the remembering that helps you with the doing. So,
yes.
Sacred Mist, nutshell practice explanation for those listeners that aren't yet aware of it. It is to simply imagine in a way that has meaning for you, to sense, see, feel, that there is a mist in front of you. The mist is composed of beautiful colors, shapes, pictures. Maybe there's even a beautiful perfume to it. And this mist is created by your higher self and all of the guides and guardians that love you. And as you allow this mist to slowly approach you and encompass you within its embrace, you're given the upgrades, the downgrades, the uploads, the take them away, we don't need them anymore. Everything is done in cohesion with your true self, with your highest self. And so it's literally like taking a spiritual shower because you bring in that which behooves you and you release that which doesn't. So even just to do the sacred mist practice as a brief moment is enough to change the wiring of what you're receiving. And I wonder what it
Mm.
would look like if one did the sacred mist and then the next step of the rituals, not to get locked into rituals, because you and I both know we don't have to do it the same way every time. But I wonder what it would look
Exactly.
like to call in the energies of what wants to be created. So when you're
Mm.
looking at your to-do list,
Mhm.
I wonder what might happen if we did the sacred mist first so that we're attuned and we're aligned. Then we look at the list and we even just a simple question. What's calling to me? What is calling to me from this list that is just joyful? There's a sense of anticipation. What is calling
Yes.
me to it instead of I'm now going to tell the universe with my 64 years of life that I know better than the universe and I'm going to pick what I have to do instead
Yes.
of resting in this process and going, oh, I just thought of a new hashtag, increase your joy threshold,
Whoa. Who doesn't want that?
right?
Sign me up. Increase
Yeah.
your joy threshold.
So there's my thoughts, the sacred mist and
Yeah.
the calling on the joy of what wants to be done. Add something to it, my love.
Yeah, I would love to. Oh, I'm so excited about this conversation and kind of where we're going with this because those are really beautiful, easy to implement little rituals. And what is a ritual really? It's an opportunity to check in with me.
Mhm.
It's taking us from this orientation of the obligation and what do I need to do and being
Yeah,
kind of externally focused and coming back to me and what would bring me the most joy in this moment and kind of clearing, cleansing, allowing for the opening of the energetic channels, the information that downloads, but also to connect with excitement. Because that's something that I do frequently is I say, okay, I have a few minutes. What can I do for the next few minutes that I'm excited to do? That's going to bring me some excitement. And it can be something small. It doesn't have to be a career change. It doesn't like we're not talking about big things. We're talking about
yeah,
little shifts. And it's just
yeah.
about opening up to that quality of excitement. So it might be going for a walk, being in nature, lighting incense, going for a bath. I don't know. It could be anything. Watching a movie, like what, reading a book, what gives me a real quality of what am I excited to do with this next few moments of, or what am I most excited, like you said, on that to do list? And
Hmm.
following that
Hmm.
quality of excitement, because to me, that is my higher self talking.
Absolutely.
That's the
Joy
compass
and
of the soul.
enthusiasm. Yeah, yeah. That's soul territory. That's
That's
why we're
soul
here.
territory. That's an
Yeah,
open channel to the higher consciousness within me that is trying to guide me in the direction in my life that would most serve me and serve my purpose here and bring me that fulfillment and that passion and invite all the yummy qualities that we want of love and connection and all sorts of many things. But the excitement is kind of like following that thread opens us up to a whole world. But we have a hard time with that in our culture because we're very oppressed and lots of to-dos and obligation and heaviness and those heavy qualities. But there's such an opportunity to kind of like open playfully that
yeah,
portal within us to
yeah,
connect
yeah.
in.
Yeah, and to do it in little steps. That I think as women
Yeah.
we tend to look at an all or nothing when we've got something that needs
Oh,
to be done or to create it. It's all or nothing. So I wonder what would happen if over the course of this next month, and we'd be working with the Taurus new moon energies too, which is really
yeah.
grounded and stable and secure and
Mhm.
moving a little bit at a time and feeling. So it's a sense based month, not an intellect based month. So just to
Yeah.
take little mini moments of what brings me joy? What does joy? I suppose it's important to even ask, what does joy or enthusiasm look like? I don't know that as women we've taken time to figure out what that personally means. So I wonder what it
Yes.
might look like to work with the things we've talked about. Let's take the sacred mist. Let's do the invocation and asking the joy of what's wanting to be created to make itself known, to call us to it, and then to spend a little bit of time with journal because you and I both love our journals. There is no
Yes.
such thing as too many journals.
Nope. Nope.
So
Nope.
what would
Journal
happen
junkie.
is,
Hashtag
right?
journal junkie.
Yes, yes. Always room for one or two or four more because I trust. that at the right time, the right journal for the right purpose will present itself. I wonder what would happen if we were to encourage one another and our listeners to
Yeah.
start working on a joy journal, but not the
Oh,
way that
beautiful.
we've talked about this before. You know, joy journals can become an exercise in treachery as well. If you're not feeling
Yes.
joy and you're sitting there going, yeah, well, I'm going to identify some joy. No, what if it is just on a daily basis? We ask the question, what does joy
Mm,
look or feel like to me today? What a
yeah.
brilliant way of tuning into your true knowing. So
Beautiful.
what does joy feel or look like today? And if we were to start that now for me, and this is also part of why I love doing this podcast, because we explore the different rhythms of each woman's life. For
Yeah.
me, I usually like to do any sort of journaling with an empty mind, I call it, where I'm not already
Mm,
full of what the day needs to do. I will do that first thing in the morning. So before I do anything, I don't go on to
mm,
Facebook. I don't check my phone. Well, I check my phone to make sure I haven't been called into work, or that there's
right.
issues for family. So important stuff I check. But other than that, I put everything aside, and that I like to. I have a better day if I take 20 minutes of
Mm,
just being quiet and journaling. But I'm also in awareness because I work a lot of evening shifts as an RN. And sometimes when I'm working a stretch, I am at my most creative or my most
mm,
settled space at midnight when I get home. So I'm
right.
inviting our listeners to journal when it's right for them. Not to start in the morning, especially if you've got multiplicities of small kids, things to do. Mornings are like organized, or maybe not so organized, chaos to
Ooh,
get out of the
chaos.
door. So who has
Yeah.
time to journal, right? So 5 minutes,
Yeah.
5 minutes. What does joy look or feel like to me? And why do we do that? Because we have to resonate first before we can radiate. We have to
Yeah.
resonate to the
Yes.
truth. We have to feel what it is. And then
Yeah.
as we send out that energetic signature to the universe and to our to-do list, both the to-do list and the universe can go, okay, let's align to that energetic because that's what the girl is beaming,
That's
right?
right. Because this is
Yeah.
energy work.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And
what this
energy
is
is
for
not
people who
some
aren't sure.
namby-pamby nebulous thing.
No.
Energy is who we are. There is a multiplicity of energies. The denser energies we can see in our conventional senses, the lighter energies we sense and we feel with our heart and
Mm,
with our intuition, with our insights, with our deeper listening. So really what we're doing is making the non-ordinary more ordinary.
we are practical.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
practical ways to use spiritual tools, to use
Mm-hmm.
energetic practices, to use ritual
Yep.
and ceremony without getting kind of dogmatic and rigid. And it's not
Yep.
about that at all.
No.
But these are practical. This
Yeah.
is what it means to go from a human doing to a human being.
Yeah. And be in the resonance of what you want to experience, and then you get more of it. It's the great mystery of life. You can't keep reaching out there for something that you want to experience
Yes.
in here. You have to develop an awareness of what that feels like inside. And so this question seems very simple, but it's so potent.
Yes.
What does joy feel or look like to me today? It's not going to be the same every day, just like we're not in
Not.
the same energetic space every day. Some days joy will seem like an effortless sort of effervescent, oh, there we are.
Mhm.
Other days it's going to be like, I'm looking really hard. I cannot feel or see.
Like, I don't see it. I don't
Right?
see it
Yeah.
today. But it's true. And as women, particularly, we go through cycles. We go through phases and
Yes.
stages of life. It's the macrocosm, it's the microcosm between the
Yeah.
rhythm of our day to day, the rhythm of our cycles, the rhythm of the year. I mean, we live in cycles. So there
Yeah.
is this ebb and flow quality also. And I like your
Absolutely.
point, and just to bring it up again around, it's really important that when we're doing these practices and we're like playing with them and getting to know ourselves in a deeper, more profound way, that we're not making a make work project out of this. We're not
Yes.
adding to our list of anxiety of the to dos.
Yeah.
Now I've got to do
Yeah.
this self care practice, and now I have to do this thing, and I have to do
Yeah.
that thing, because that's the wrong energy. When we're
Yeah.
experiencing that, we're really tuning into that oppressive energy. So we want to just kind of be careful, because
Yeah.
anything that we do for us can be medicine, but it can also be poison. And
It
it
can.
really depends on the quality of how it's landing and how we're using it and our approach.
Mhm.
So this is not a to do. This is not
No, this is
some
like a mini
self
coffee break.
shaming.
This is like a little coffee
Yeah.
break with, and you can do it with coffee, tea, you can do it with nothing at all. But think of it in that way, a little
Yeah.
break from normal routine. You take 5 minutes and you feel refreshed, ready to go. And most of all, the benefit of that is on mind, body, heart, and soul. So 5 minutes and you've
Yeah.
literally authentically energized yourself. We all do the coffee thing. God knows I'm still working on that. It's a work in progress. But I prefer how I feel when I'm authentically energized, right?
Yeah.
Rather than externally. So I take the coffee, I get the energy rush, which sometimes isn't that great a feeling, and then away we go. And I keep reminding myself, it's like there are alternative choices to get that
Mm.
energetic lift. And doing this as a coffee break or what's a word? We should come up with a new word for it, a bliss break,
Oh, a bliss break. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. A bliss break.
right?
Who doesn't want a
Hashtag
bliss break?
bliss breaks. Who doesn't want a bliss break?
Come
Right?
on, sign me up.
Oh, look, I just had a most amusing visual being at work. I'm just going to go take a bliss break now. Thanks very much. See you
Yeah,
later.
right? And
I
honestly,
love bliss
sometimes,
breaks.
when my kids are older now, but when I
Mhm.
was in the thick of life being so supremely busy with younger children, I mean, it can even just be excusing yourself, like going to the washroom at work and just
Yep.
taking 5 minutes in the stall by
Yep.
yourself
Yeah.
to just
Or
get
even
do
at
that
home,
practice,
get
get
into your
recentered.
own bathroom. Yeah. If you've got
That's
littles,
it.
get into the bathroom. Well, I guess it might have to be the basement doing laundry because most kids will follow you into the bathroom, but that's
They
okay
will
too.
follow you into the bathroom. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But,
Right? Yeah.
it's just carving out those little it's about creating
Yes.
spaces and places for just connecting in with joy, connecting in with bliss, connecting in with rest,
Yes.
making myself a priority. It feels really lovely and self-supportive also to just take
Yes.
those couple of minutes.
And totally doable because you're not having to
Doable.
carve out a particular time, like the rigidity we talked about. It can be any
Yeah.
moment. You can be on your way down to the car to pick up the kids after school, and you could
Yes.
take the moment to do this. What does joy feel for me?
Yes.
I mean, we've talked about using the journal, and the reason, of course, to explain briefly why I love journaling so much, or even speaking the words aloud, we bring from non-ordinary reality into ordinary reality when we
Mhm.
express, when we write it, when we speak it. So that's why we talk about the journaling as a good practice. But if you're a mom that's so busy that there's no time to put pen to paper, then you put words to mouth. Any
Yeah,
way that expresses that, what does joy or bliss look like and feel like for me today? And then, as best you are
exactly.
able to, you take those mini moments of action. Even just the question energetically is taking action because you're asking instead of telling.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
opening up that channel within yourself. And as we do
Yes.
these kinds of practices and we play and we explore,
Hmm.
because that's what this is, it's play, explore,
Hmm.
see how it
Yeah.
lands for you. It
Yeah.
gets easier and easier and easier.
It
It opens
totally
up and
does.
it builds a momentum, and we're building a relationship with ourselves in a little bit of a different way. And the
Yes.
relationship improves with some time.
Yes. And as we develop that relationship with ourself and we expand our awareness of who we are, we've now
Mm,
become a more engaged being in the vast cosm, the macrocosm, and we become more of who we're here to be. We didn't come here to play small or to play drudgery
no.
or to play
Yes.
constant victimhood. That's not our true knowing. That's not our true empowerment. So spending these little mini moments have major potential effects for us and not in a disruptive way. We've been taught both by ourselves and by community and by societal expectations to keep our expectations small because it's safer
Yeah.
that way. It's like this is not the lifetime to play small. It's
No.
not a lifetime to feel exposed or not safe. But by doing these
Right.
small steps, you are literally bringing in
Mm,
all the support, all your guides, your guardians, your true knowing, your empowerment, all of those authentic strengths that came with you into this lifetime. And trust you me when I say every single one of us that are here in this lifetime now looked at this lifetime before we came and said, bring it on. I am going to reach a point of self-actualization in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I know
So
some of us at times might regret the fact that we said bring it on. I mean, I'm just going to say, I realize sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness,
oh,
what was I
listen.
thinking? Wow, I
Yeah,
really
I
signed
don't
up for
think
a good one here.
we totally
But
signed up for a good one.
but
Yeah.
but I am up to the challenge, and I have been up to the
Yeah.
challenge. And
Are we all?
what's really beautiful is there are so many great techniques and conversations happening and women gathering together. So there's lots of support. We're just starting with one thing today. But
Yes.
as we kind of step into the space of,
Mhm.
stepping into being the creator of our lives and stepping into connecting with our joy and awakening that inner guidance system, it opens us
Yeah.
up to a whole land of really beautiful
Totally.
things that will help support us.
Yeah. And each small step we take is just like I always love the image of dropping a stone into a pond and the
Mm,
ripples are far, they're
yes.
gentle, they're beautiful, they're
Yeah.
concentric. That's what happens every time we take a small step of
Yeah.
awareness, then the field of our awareness expands and who the field touches expands. And then we expand in our ability to sense who and how we are connected with the grateful. It's a win-win.
Yeah. It's a win-win. And it's a lovely, I think also for mamas, it's really lovely to connect into these qualities because that ripple that you're talking about, our
Mhm.
children receive that ripple
And grandchildren.
and
Yeah,
our
our
grandchildren
descendants
and yeah.
and our ancestors love. It's not
Yes.
just this way.
Right.
Remember, too, that the ripples are like completely concentric. So we are reaching into our past and healing that,
Mm.
our present and our futures. So potency in a simple act of sitting with what does joy
Yeah.
look or feel like to me in this moment today? What does it look or feel like to me? And then as we resonate to joy, we are radiating that into our field of influence. And so those ripples that we send out to the world
Mm.
are now joy based. What a win-win that is for everybody that's connected with us.
Oh,
Oh, my guides are
it's
laughing. They're like,
lovely.
not only is it good for the people that you are loving and that you are wanting to be with, but it's also good for the people that you might have chosen as soul challenges in this lifetime, where
Oh,
there
yeah.
isn't a conscious awareness of flow or light even for those relationships, if we're sitting in a moment, just a moment, what does joy feel or look like to me
Mm.
today? And we're radiating that. That also helps radiate into all fields of interaction that we have, and somehow,
Right.
somewhere helps contribute to miracles because miracles are an ordinary thing. We just think they're
Yeah.
extraordinary. Hmm. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Well, I can tell you what does joy look or feel like to me today? It feels like this conversation right now.
Ah, yes, I was just having the very same thought. How brilliantly gorgeous it is that the universe
Yeah.
conspired to bring us together in the ways that it did, and this deep sisterhood that has developed as a result,
Yeah.
and how we empower one another to be in our true knowing, and
Mm.
just the joyful creativity that flows when we are together. So I look forward to seeing what's next for this.
Yes. This is so
Yeah.
exciting. It's just spark, spark, spark. It's the
Yeah.
sparks of joy
And
and
that's
adding
how
to
it works.
just that's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It's small things. It's small things, but a beautiful conversation um,
Mhm.
can just touch the heart and touch on my joy center. And now is feeding me and uplifting me as I move through the rest of my day.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I don't know about you, my love. That feels pretty complete. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I am feeling a completion and feeling like a feeling of home, home in my
Yes.
joy.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I like that. Hashtag home and joy. Big on our hashtags. All right. Well, hashtag, we're going to thank all of the guides and guardians that came together to help bless us in this
Mm.
space. We're going to ask to be continuing awareness sources and channels of awareness, of bliss, and of joy.
Mm.
And we're going to ask to continue expanding our allowance and our embodiment of those qualities because they are creator given, sustained, and maintained. None can stand in their way. We let this be so as it is so, and so it now begins.
And so it
And
now
there we are.
begins. And there we are. How
Indeed.
beautiful. How
Until next
beautiful.
time.
Until next time, my friend. Thank you
Indeed.
so much, Marianne. Mwah!
Much love. All
All right.
right.
Much love
We're
to
off
you
for
too.
now.
Okay. All right.